Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and we're back with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Season 3. This is the reunion.
These are factual things that happened, yes? This is true?
This is the worst reunion of all time.
I think this is the worst reunion that's ever been made for any television series in the history of existence. And that is even including, we watched the season 6 reunion tell-all for Sister Wives.
The Geico caveman makeup.
Geico caveman makeup, the clown makeup. This was worse. This was worse than that, because at least that had like an entertainment value to it unintentionally. This was just dumb.
It's very hard to sit through a reunion when it's kind of just a continuation of what happened in the season, but you're not learning anything new. None of the storylines are progressing. Anytime they got to any point where there was actually something interesting being said, they were like, stay tuned for season 4.
It's all just a teaser trailer preview for season 4.
And apparently a fucking Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Well, we had to get into our perfected state here with some Taco Bell before we did this recap. So I was wondering why they didn't have Taco Bell for them, because they were all over the place in season 3 as far as what was included on the episodes of the show. But then I realized if you had Dunkin' Donuts and Taco Bell, you're going to need to have like a Charmin Bear host this tell-all then.
They were there for over 12 hours. Apparently, you can't tell by what was produced.
No.
In the end, but they were there for a very long time talking.
I mean, they probably weren't filming for the whole time, you know, to say that it was like a 12 to 14 hour day. That's not to say, okay, this was a tell-all that was a single episode. It was 1 hour long. So had we turned this on and it was a 4-part, 4-hour long tell-all for season 3, I would have lost my mind.
We would have been equally as upset by that.
Just as upset, if not more upset.
Okay, no, here's my gripe with it. If you're going to give us an hour-long reunion where you don't have enough time to get to everything, you don't need to be doing the Dunkin' Bev Bar.
Well, I think they were contractually obligated to be doing Dunkin'.
I don't care.
Bev Bar.
You're taking time out of us learning more information so that we can watch Chase make some Dunkin' refreshers.
It was weird. It was like a cuck bar where it was just, that was where he had to sit over there and watch the reunion happen from afar. But like, don't contribute to it. We're not going to ask you questions. You're just over there. You're part of the set now.
They did spend time talking about Chase and Layla being in a relationship. I'm sorry, not Chase.
Not Chase.
Mason. So they had Chase come out because they're trying to push the Chase Taylor storyline.
Which is useless.
Because we know she's going on The Bachelorette, which also did not get mentioned in this reunion.
They didn't bring that up at all. But the way we backed into this was, I don't think that they had determined that she was going to be the Bachelorette. So they didn't have anything to announce at the time of filming.
Right, but the problem is you're drumming up an entire storyline for next season that's going to be cut short by her going on The Bachelorette. So why am I going to get invested in that?
I don't care about this show. I don't care about the people. I don't care about the storylines.
They
have proven to me in season 3. Season 1 was interesting. I was morbidly curious to continue watching. Season 2, I wasn't as impressed. There was some drama. We saw things kind of ramp up a little bit here. We gave them another try with season 3, and we watched through it, and I think I definitively hate it.
Why? Where are you landing on that?
Well, just like as
I have an opinion.
As a series, as a show, I hate this because they can't tell a story to completion, first and foremost. The stories that they are doing are drumming up on like very, very, very serious topics that you shouldn't be lying about or creating stories about to get buzz for a shitty show like this.
All right, that's what I'm upset about is I feel like they used SA as a topic for the majority of the season to drive viewership to both this show and Vanderpump Villa. And then when they had the opportunity to clear it up or bring it to a conclusion, they didn't.
And even here, Marciano is nowhere to be found. We don't hear from him at all. We don't hear anything about him except in the DadTok feature part of the tell-all here, which they had to reserve time for. This was like the primo content of the 14 hours that they filmed. Needed to see this. They went to Vanderpump Villa in London. DadTok did.
For season 4 of Vanderpump Villa.
And Marciano's there.
That to me is damning because that just proves that Hulu, in their internal investigation of what happened between Marciano and Demi, has most likely determined that Marciano did not do anything. Otherwise, why would they invite him back to film another season? That's a liability to have a person like that on set.
Unless they just felt better because it was DadTok that was going to be there. They didn't think that there was going to be a threat.
Maybe they wanted to create more drama because Jordan was there.
But I don't like that that's the topic that we're going with here. I mean, I guess for the Jordan, Jessi sort of storyline, that's different. It's not like Bret was there as part of this or anything. I don't think, right? Because he's not in DadTok anymore.
That's what they're telling us.
That's what they say.
But that, again, they're going to drag this into season 4.
Well, and I don't like that they're like linking these two shows permanently now.
By this connection of someone alleging that they were SA'd.
Yeah, for all of that. And then like, that's supposed to be, oh, now you need to watch that. It's like when The Mandalorian had a season and then Book of Boba Fett came out. And then I was like, this show is trash. And I stopped watching it at like episode 5. And then the new season of The Mandalorian came out and I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, this isn't where we left off. And then people were like, what? You didn't finish the Book of Boba Fett? And I was like, no, the show sucked.
Didn't know I had to watch one to understand the other.
Yeah, because like the back half of the Book of Boba Fett was like Mandalorian season 2.5. You have to watch that between seasons 2 and 3. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
So is that what they're trying to do here?
They're trying to make an expanded universe. A Star Wars universe for Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and Vanderpump Villa.
I don't like whatever's happening. It feels very irresponsible and like lacking ethics from like the production side of things, which I'm not saying that reality TV holds a high bar in that area. But when you have a cast where the majority of people have experience with having been assaulted, why would you then make this fodder, something to be debated among the cast and to divide them?
Well, it's just, again, Demi doesn't know how to be a redeemable villain. We kind of talked about that, the irredeemable villains that we have in our Mediocre Down episode this past month in November on the Patreon, over at patreon.com/survivingpod, of course. But like Demi doesn't get it, where it's like, it's okay if you're going to do in a housewife sort of way, where you're going to play the villain, where you antagonize the group. You make enemies, you're saying stuff that's kind of out of pocket. Maybe you're popping off more than usual. You're tipping over a table. You're throwing drinks in people's faces. You know, like that. Somebody needs to fill that role. And it can't be the same person all the time.
But this took it to a whole nother level.
But this is where, if you go too far into, now you're talking about stuff where it's just, in general, your character is being called into question now, is the issue. And like what we saw here was where even Bret was trying to chime in about how, oh, it was gross how everybody's response was
to not believe her automatically.
That you automatically don't believe her. No, incorrect. Because the reason why we don't believe her is because that was not her story. And then when her story was falling apart, the reasons that she was giving were all being, poked holes in those theories. Then it became very clearly evident that she needed to go this route, which could remain unquestioned, and then she wouldn't need to hold up to scrutiny.
I thought that was unfair of him to say, because a lot of Mom Talk did feel at first like very torn about what they should say about this.
Yes.
Because a lot of them did want to side with Demi, but they were there at Vanderpump Villa. Oh my God.
Villa.
At Vanderpump Villa with her. There we go. And they saw with their own eyes her interactions with Marciano.
Well, I think that's what Jen is stuck on, right? And then that's what leads to the biggest confrontation that we have directly on stage here is between Demi and Jen, where they're still going at it. Because that was the whole original issue in season 2, was that Demi was immediately trying to discredit Jen because she knew she had shit on her from Vanderpump Villa.
Right, which is what led to her entire mental break that caused her to have to stop filming the show, was because they kept talking about her being a pathological liar, which also Bret comes for Zach in the green room at one point and telling him, oh, it must be contagious that you are also a pathological liar, just like your wife.
Well, it was like the green room fight, you could tell they were ramping things up because then he was insulting Zach by calling it, saying, I can't hear you with your munchkin voice. I think they probably just got paid bonuses if they were able to refer things back to Wizard of Oz references for Wicked. Oh no, that's Peacock though, so they don't care about this. Never mind.
They weren't promoting
different. I wouldn't put it past them.
Hey,
though.
If it's in the Disney universe,
they're probably cutting deals. No, that one's not Disney though, right? They don't have Wizard of Oz.
I don't know.
It's MGM. It's different. It's got the lion.
He's a dick. We haven't gotten to see a lot of Bret until now, and it was like less. Give us less.
Is he sundowning? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with this man? What time was it when they were filming?
He's angry. I think he's reached the Cody Brown stage of life where he's maybe, using some testosterone, and he's getting much angrier than he should be.
His male menopause low T state that he's arriving in here. Yeah. The only apology that he gives is he apologizes to Miranda for calling her white trash. That's it. That's the only apology that this man issues to anyone here.
But he also kind of doesn't remember it. Remember, he said that. He was like, sometimes I just say things and I don't remember that I say them.
He was basically saying like, oh, I didn't remember that I was directing that at you. That was more of a general thing of like anybody who was against me.
That I don't take back in any other instance except for with you, Miranda.
Well, it was just like that specific case. You were the person that she spoke to last. So that's why I directed that at you personally. I'm sorry I called you white trash. I don't even know what that means.
Was this the only thing that got directed to her as far as questions go? I mean, at one point at the beginning when they had Taylor and Chase sitting next to each other, she looked pissed and they didn't ask her any questions. Is she upset about her ex-husband now chasing after Taylor?
Chasing Taylor?
If you're trying to get me invested in watching next season, I want to know more about that. Her face was saying a lot.
There were a lot of missed opportunities here. Well, it was like a fever dream or like a low budget dream sequence of a film where like characters would appear where like you're not used to this, you're not expecting this. They're just there. People are here. And then they don't say anything. We don't address it. We don't pick up because there was like a whole cliffhanger thing with like bringing Taylor's parents out to confront Dakota at one point. And then we just like moved on.
Everybody was on the stage all of a sudden.
Poof.
I was like, what happened?
Everybody just pops back into place. And it's like, wait, what? I thought it was going to be like this whole conversation between whatever. Because that had its whole own drama as well. Because the dads from DadTok were out there with the moms from Mom Talk. And then they had to like shoo all the moms away backstage so that they could have a special guest come out. It was Dakota. Dakota wasn't going to speak at the tell-all.
Okay, but they didn't seem to know that because I thought that either they made it look like Demi freaked out after they heard that somebody was coming out and didn't want the rest of Mom Talk to be there, or that's really the way it happened.
You're saying that like they were trying to imply that maybe it was Marciano who was appearing.
But it was Dakota.
I knew right away that it was Dakota because, of course, he's going to drum it up. He was trying to say, oh, I didn't know it was going to be like that dramatic. I think that's exactly how you wanted that to play out.
You do, huh?
I think he wanted that to play out exactly this way.
So much more embarrassing for himself.
It was so weird. Yeah, to come out and then just start telling everybody like all of these weird details about what did or didn't happen, how he lied but didn't really lie. Not really. He's like trying to clarify things, walk things back a little bit here, but it's just making him look worse because the word of the day is accountability. and he does not take accountability for his actions here.
He only had one tasteful nude sent to him that was a silhouette of this woman's body.
It was more like like art. I would say it's like artistic.
And then he only returned 2 photos.
There was one that she sent me. So I did say 1 photo because I thought she was talking about how many photos did she send you. And I said 1. And technically that was right because I sent her multiple photos. We were talking about like fitness goals and like being fit and healthy and working out.
I was trying to purposely direct the conversation to be about our bodies so that maybe it would turn to that area. Let's be honest, dude.
I was trying to show her my gains. You know?
He never told us what was in his photos.
He didn't. Yes, he glossed over that pretty quickly because she asked.
And then he referred back to the silhouette.
And he was talking about what was in that photo. And it's like, no, sir. I don't care about that photo. We heard about that photo. What were in the photos that you sent?
We did learn something new, at least as part of this, which was that they'd only been in their relationship for 10 months, Dakota and Taylor. So this is while Taylor is pregnant that this is happening.
What?
Yes, they mentioned that. She's pregnant.
Oh, they were broken up.
They're broken up. Taylor's pregnant.
Okay.
This woman who is friends with her mom and friends with Taylor is trying to get with Dakota behind her back while she's pregnant.
So this was wild. Yeah, like oh man. The timing couldn't be worse, I suppose. I mean, like there's no good time for this to happen. But then for him to come out and defend it the way that he did.
Oh, he was
horrible.
Struggling.
He was all over the place. And then all the dads in DadTok are just rubbing their eyes.
They look dead inside, right?
Face palming. Like they can't believe that this is what this guy is doing. I'm surprised that nobody just leaned over and told him, dude, shut up.
Just stop talking.
What are you doing?
It would have been better if he just threatened to not come to the reunion and went through with that. Like, just don't come. Like,
I understand where he wanted to say things because then he wanted to apologize. And then, yeah, remember at last season's Tell All when he was breaking down and crying and apologizing and talking about how he would do anything? Yeah, that was like while this was going on. So don't believe anything that he's saying right now either because he's full of shit.
Well, so is she.
She is too, though. It takes one to know one.
Because he's like, well, you can say all that about me, but you were sexting me last night.
And she tries to defend it as, well, I'm single. Yeah, but you're also talking about how he's a piece of shit.
Raise your standards.
Yeah, like...
You can't be trying to throw him under the bus for what he did and talk about what a disgusting human being he is, but also you're willing to get off to him.
Constantly still reaching out to him for affection in these ways. And it's like, no, man, you can't do both. It's hypocritical at best.
So eventually they do get to the apology with Leanne, and I don't remember Taylor's dad's name, and I really don't care to because...
He's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all terrible people.
He hit the nail on the head this time. So at least I'm shocked that they didn't forgive Dakota. Like that was where I thought this was going to go initially. But I guess they are very upset by who this was with, this person who was involved.
Thank God it finally broke whatever magical spell he had over them.
Well, because that's what Leanne's saying here. She's like, the problem is you are a very likable person, but then as you get to know you, like as someone gets to understand who you actually are, you're not that person. Like you have a great facade, and then the actual person that you are underneath is horrible.
Maybe you should have trusted your daughter when she told you that that's what he was like. She was the one who was in a relationship with him.
Well, and then once you determine that this person is horrible, stop interacting with them. I get that there's a co-parenting element that makes this incredibly complicated, but that doesn't mean that you need to keep fucking this dude. Like, stop doing that.
So let's talk about that, because then Taylor says something at the end that upsets Dakota. He's taking what she's saying as, you're a bad dad, and I regret having ever true with you.
Well, she was saying that she feels guilty. There are times now, like where she feels the guilt
He heard something different than what she said.
Of Taylor choosing to be with Dakota and the result of that being Baby Ever True. Unfortunately, the dad that I picked for you, my kid, is this piece of shit. So, like, that's the regret that she feels. She feels regret and guilt over that. And then he's only hearing it as, you are a bad dad. I don't think that's what she's saying here. I think he's interpreting it that way, but it's like, no. Not saying that you're a bad dad necessarily. Saying that I regret you being my kid's dad, that's the regret.
To be fair, she did not go out of her way to clarify that.
No. I think she's letting him, go down that path, whatever he needs to do. Because very clearly he's getting upset by it and he's taking it that way. And it's like, you could have clarified a little bit.
But that's what I'm saying. I think she did want it to hurt him in that way because she doesn't say, like, well, you do show up for him. I'm not saying that you aren't, like, present in his life. But, yeah, I don't like that I brought a baby into the world whose parents have never been together his entire life.
Constantly fighting, bickering.
Getting back together, breaking up. It's toxic.
On again, off again, on again, off again. Yeah, it's this weird draw that we have, but it's incredibly unhealthy. And it's not supportive. It's not conducive for a great family environment to raise a child in.
So he just walks off the stage because he won't hear any of that. And that's like the end of the reunion.
Dakota's pretty much done. Yeah, like what did we accomplish here? I mean, like Jessi talked for a little bit.
Well, no, let's go back to the stuff because there was a lot more with the Marciano.
Well, I was going to say, like, I think there was like pieces, parts. I'm trying to think of like Layla. Did she say anything?
Just at the beginning when she was talking about being with Mason,
and
what it was like to be with Chase's brother.
Okay,
which she's talked about 4 times already this season.
Yeah, we've already established that. Yes, you fucked everybody in this family. Great, good for you. I don't care. We don't need to keep talking about it.
Whitney said next to nothing.
Whitney did nothing. Connor spoke up more than Whitney because everybody keeps saying that Macy is the conscience of the group. It seems like that's Connor's responsibility at the tell-alls.
Let's merge mom talk and dad talk and just take the best of.
Man,
we don't need the 2 groups.
We don't need 2 separate shows. If that's what they're trying to do, like DadTok has a leg to stand on to make their own show.
I think they're trying to make them earn their paychecks because they're getting paid to be here.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you can't even handle one set of storylines. You're trying to branch off into 2 different sets. This is a whole mess. Don't keep doing that. So it was like Jessi and Jordan drama that was happening a little bit because there was like some unseen footage of Jessi calling Marciano after the Layla phone call with her at the influencer night. So that was like the first episode of the season. And so there was like an additional conversation about, she had called Marciano directly.
Yes.
And so then this is Jordan's first time like hearing that conversation. And you could tell he was still very upset by a lot of this stuff. Right. He's filling in the blanks or hearing things that he thinks was being said that was not actually being said.
Well, this is the conversation where Marciano is insisting that they had sex. And Jessi's like, no, we didn't. I'm willing to own up to a lot of what happened because I'm going to film about it. But I'm not going to say that I did something that I didn't do. And he was like, well, we did do that. So, and also, Demi has really, like, fucked me. Not that way.
Not that way.
But he did make a comment at the end, and I think that that's what Jen was reacting to, because once they stopped rolling that clip, Jen's mouth was agape on the couch.
She couldn't believe what she just heard.
Yeah.
Oh, neither could Jordan, because then Jordan's getting upset about, how you were going to leave me for him. And she's like, no, I didn't say that. I said that I was going to leave you.
She makes it even worse, in my opinion, where she's like, it could have been anyone, to be fair.
It didn't matter.
There was nothing special about Marciano necessarily. You're just such a horrible husband.
I was ready to go.
I was ready to go with anybody who would have me.
Anybody at that point, I would take anybody over you.
Apparently, they're working on their marriage and things have gotten somewhat better. I thought that Jessi was trying to be very conservative in how she spoke about this because I don't think she wants to make any definitive commitment in either direction.
progress is being made. She's seeing the effort. They're seeing, the results of they're hearing each other out and then taking each other into consideration more and all that stuff. So it's just like, I don't know. Do you think it's going to last? Do you think that's going to...
I don't think so.
I mean...
I think that he seems like someone who will never get over this, especially the way that he went straight to feeling like she had attacked his ego or his manlyhood. I don't think he's going to get over this. Also, I saw a TikTok of her on a podcast talking about how he was chasing her around the house at one point, threatening to post this on TikTok, I guess, while they were filming the show. So there's, months before this is ever going to come out on TV that he was going to out her to everybody online.
That's like part of those arguments. And yeah,
that's gross.
Not good. Not a good way to communicate. Not a good way to
I just think we've seen enough from Jordan to know that he's not a great dude.
Can his eyes get any closer together?
They can't.
Probably not.
They literally can't. Then Demi starts attacking Jen for Jen saying what she witnessed firsthand at Vanderpump Villa.
Well, okay, so here's the problem. Jen keeps saying Demi kissed Marciano off camera. She says off camera, and then they're saying, okay, did you see that happen? And she goes, well, no. Okay, well, that's a problem. If you're implying that something happened off camera, that would kind of mean that you're implying that, like, you saw something happen, even though it wasn't recorded on camera.
Yeah.
You were witness to it. You were party to it. Or
someone told you secondhand.
Heard about it or
also
saw
does not say.
Yeah, like some element of like credibility to that. But she's just saying, no, it happened off camera because it wasn't recorded. It wasn't part of the show. But like the way they were acting, that wasn't normal married woman and single guy behavior. The way that they were flirting and all over each other. And
I think Jen knows something. I've thought that since season 2.
Yeah.
As soon as it started, it seemed like she knew something that happened at the villa and that Demi was trying to get ahead of her and silence her. And that's exactly the way that it played out.
Yeah, because I mean, like the fighting that was going on back and forth here, because Demi gets very aggressive with Jen. Like, it doesn't come from a place of like frustration about being misunderstood or not being heard or anything like that. Like, she attacks Jen's credibility.
Well, I think that she knows she can bully Jen.
Yeah, but Jen's she's like drunken monkey defending on this, She's just got like that different style about her now that I don't know if Demi knows how to navigate this.
Well, what Jen just does is stop talking. Just let Demi talk herself into the corner, because that's what she eventually does. Because then she says, well, you just don't understand because you've never been SA'd. And everyone on the couch is like,
well, that's yucky.
That, first of all, gross
first
to say. Second of all, Jen has unfortunately experienced that.
And it's not something that she talked about on the show, so thanks for bringing that up. But like, yeah, that is something that Jen is unfortunately familiar with. So does that meet your standard now where she's able to speak on it personally? Like, just because that hasn't been someone's experience doesn't mean that they
can't empathize.
Can't empathize or can't address the situation or assess what's going on based on the information that's available to them.
I think that was a good example of what the women have been saying all season, which is that she's trying to weaponize this.
Correct. It's more evidence of that, unfortunately.
Also, the other gross moment in the season is when, so Michaela and Jace are talking about their intimacy problems again. Mm-hmm. And then Jessi shares that as she's been in therapy, she's uncovered that she was SA'd when she was 19.
Well, and that's like the first thing that kicks this off. You can see it on Demi's face where she's like, uh-oh. Like,
I feel like
my story's crumbling.
Personal opinion is that Demi felt like, oh no, that's another, like, I can't do what she just tried to do to Jen. Yeah. I can't do that to Jessi anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it took something out of her toolbox for the fight that she was preparing for.
Yeah. Like, you could see the wheels turning in her head as she's sitting across from her when she's saying this. Not out of concern for your former best friend. You guys were like the closest people on the show.
Has just told you something that's really emotional and something very difficult that she experienced in her life. And you appear to be thinking about yourself in that moment.
And again, not going back to checking on, this is a person who has been in a hotel room alone with Marciano that you're aware of, not checking on that, not asking any questions about that, or seeing if she's okay from any of that experience either. So there's no empathy, there's no concern, there's no anything from Demi.
And the part that really set me off is Connor starts crying, because Connor is having an experience where he is empathizing with everybody in the room that this is terrible, that so many people sitting here have all had a similar experience in life.
Yeah.
And she uses that moment to then start crying and direct the attention back on herself, and then talks about how she was triggered, that her past, she won't talk about what happened in her past, but that something in her past, it was triggered by the essay from Marciano.
Well, and then like there's this whole woe is me sort of moment for Demi too, of like, oh, it's just so gross that you guys can all rally around Jessi in this experience that she's talking about. But then when I bring up my experience, everybody says that I'm a liar. Well, the problem is that you are a liar. Like, that's the problem. And then when you are doing this and like trying to use this as a deflection, you are undercutting everyone else's experience that's here who has experienced this. You're chipping away at the credibility of future people who are experiencing these things too, unfortunately.
Also, I think the whole discussion of empathy, it just feels like she lacks that whenever anybody shares anything about themselves and they're trying to understand what has allegedly happened to her. It doesn't feel authentic. A lot of things about Demi and Bret don't feel authentic, in my opinion. I don't know what to think, because here we are at the end of a season. We're having a reunion. And, you know, this whole discussion gets ended with Stassi saying, well, we don't have the time to clear this up today. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So let's move on.
I don't know why she kept steering away from things. Like when conversations were happening, where people were firing off back and forth, because this happened with Zach and Bret. They were going back and forth. And then Demi and Jen, they were going back and forth. While they're conversing, Stassi steps in to like steer to something else. Completely useless conversation. Whatever the next topic was that we shift gears to. Why don't you just let this play out? We were trying to get to the bottom of that. That's what Zach was commenting on as well, was his reaction to where did all this footage go? Because there was a ton of conversations that did not make the cut.
He's been commenting on TikTok that there was a lot of other stuff that happened that did not end up in the reunion. Seems like everyone who was there is shocked by what actually ended up in this hour. And he did mention something about like maybe there being some like legal concerns,
which that could lend to Marciano has kind of hinted at potential litigation as a response to season 3 and things that have come to light there.
Do you think that maybe that's why they didn't invite him?
I mean, they probably were still apprehensive at the time. Like he might not have been completely cleared. Now we know subsequently that he was filming for Vanderpump Villa and other things that happened. So, like, I think there was more.
I think we need to know when Vanderpump Villa season 4 was filmed.
Yeah.
Was it filmed before or after she said that she was essayed by him?
Because that would be
because she didn't leave
telling.
there and say it immediately.
Right. Yeah. It was at the Hulu
that
Get
launched,
Real event.
Yeah. It's confusing because the timelines all are so like convoluted between when the seasons are filmed, when the reunions are filmed. Now they're crossing in another show's timeline with this show.
We didn't get any updates. There was nothing about Dancing with the Stars, I guess because they're both voted off now. So they were like, hey, fuck you, Dancing with the Stars.
This would have been, I think, before they left when they filmed this.
Right. Well, I mean,
it might have been before it even started.
Well, that was what Zach was saying, was that they talked about it. There were conversations about it. So I don't know, it's just as part of not including it because, hey, they're not on that anymore anyway. So it's old news, cut it out.
We had to make time for the Dunkin' Bev bar.
The Dunkin' Bev bar. I really need to juice it up here in between these riveting questions that we have, and then stopping the conversations from taking place.
90% of the season was about what happened with Marciano, with Demi, what happened with Marciano, with Jessi. And the fact that they cut that conversation off to move on to something else, and for it to be Dakota coming out there and giving us that word salad, it just seemed like very stupid, unnecessary.
Why cater to Dakota's needs for what he doesn't have a draw on this show? Is DadTok going to survive this without Dakota?
Again, I'm not really interested in Taylor and Dakota's relationship.
No, not in the slightest.
I can already read the tea leaves on that, and they're going to get back together, break up again, get back together, break up again.
Whether it be as an alternate pick on The Bachelorette, or if it's going to be a subsequent somehow in the hometown visits, Taylor's going to end up banging Dakota by mistake or something. The honeymoon suite, or what is it? What do they call that on The Bachelor? What is it?
I don't remember. I haven't watched that in years.
The suite. What's the suite where they bang it out? You know, the fucking suite.
The overnight.
Talking about.
I don't know. If
That's what I'm talking
people
about.
Are yelling at us right now.
Let me know. I'm not invested in Bachelor Nation. I'm sorry, guys. We're about to be for The Bachelorette, I guess.
We're going to see. I think we may watch it. Are you guys interested in us recapping Taylor being on The Bachelorette?
It'll be cringe for sure. Because
Let's make our predictions.
She's going to bang Dakota at some point during filming.
I think that she is going to fall in love with like everybody there. And then she's going to fuck Dakota.
Yeah.
And she's going to have to beg for somebody's forgiveness for having cheated on them, which will make her just like Dakota, but she will fail to see that.
Okay, I'll take your prediction one twist further. Are you ready?
Yes.
She will realize that it makes her just like Dakota, and that's going to give her the empathy to forgive him, and then they could try again.
Write it down, guys.
That's pretty good.
Hold us accountable when the season airs.
That's pretty good. We could try that. All right. I don't know if I want to even watch season 4.
What's going to be in it? Like, they're teasing DadTok going on Vanderpump Villa.
I don't want to watch that.
They're teasing Taylor and Chase being together.
Do not care in the slightest. And we know that's not a factor. They're just drumming this up. Why does Chase just look like... He looks like the kid on the school bus who gets in trouble for like huffing paint and punching people.
Okay.
You know, sniffing markers and like physically bullying people on the school bus.
I could see it.
He looks like that kid grown up. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And then his brother is just...
His brother's not all there.
It's the same face and then the musketeer mustache.
Except I feel like he's got, you know, like an Amy from 1,000 Pound Sisters situation where he's only operating with like a very small portion of his brain.
His brain could be operating at a much higher level.
Guys, that's this reunion. If you didn't watch it, don't
waste your time. Please don't watch it. And debate with me. Should we even watch season 4 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Should we care anymore? Do we need to keep giving these people attention? Because I don't think they deserve it. I don't like it. We might go see Whitney in Chicago on Broadway, though.
Okay, I'm just interested in that.
I'm just saying, I might go see her. But the rest of these schmucks, I don't really care. I don't like it. I don't like the direction it's going. A lot of yucky energy.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.